professional sports are very similar, just the rules are different. It's really about the way you manage people and, really having purpose in what you do. Coming today to see the way Simon works it's been fantastic, and I've never watched a swimming coach before, and it's been fascinating to watch. Simon, how's things?
Yeah, good. We're slowly getting back into it.
Is that a fitness session?
Mate, it's only second week back, so we're just... I never thought I would have missed coaching so much, but the lockdown came so abruptly, and, we were preparing for an Olympic Games in the morning, and then by the afternoon, the whole thing was on its head. So it's great being back. I think the biggest thing that I missed is just that face-to-face interaction, and I think that's why we get into coaching. I had some athletes that were really raring to go for an Olympics, and someone like Kate Campbell, who was geared up to go to her 4th Olympics, probably took it a little bit worse than someone like Bronte, who had been really battling injury for a number of years, and I think she saw it as a blessing in disguise.
Most of my boys are overseas, to try and communicate with them while they're overseas, and ones who are, in lockdown and they're single and they're lonely. It's initiation to retirement, yeah.
2, 1.
We had a meeting with the AIS, the Mental Health Referral Group, and we just wanted to know how we get signals if a player's not feeling right. They were a great help around what type of signals that can be there, and it can be just around, for example, if you text message a player and normally they reply straight away, normally, and then all of a sudden they don't reply for 2 or 3 days, well, it can be a signal that something's not right.
I think it's another important tool in the toolbox that we can access when needed, and I think it's been a great initiative on behalf of the AIS.
If there's 4 pillars in anything of technical, tactical, physical, mental's gone to number 1. Because if the mind's not clear and if the will and the attitude is not at 100%, well, then you're never going to get the best out of the athlete. So caring for the person is more important for me than the player.
You're not going to get anything out of them if they're not happy, and I think you've got to win their trust over. They have to believe that you have their best interests at heart before they'll go to the wall for you. And so it's always a fine line between stretching them, and because, without a bit of agitation, none of us grow, but also just keeping it in check so that we're not pushing them too far. It is harder these days, I would say, just like it's harder being a parent. Once upon a time, the voices in their head each day were their coach, their parents if they lived at home, and their close group of friends. And now there's a lot of voices in their head, and a lot of them are out of our control, as far as the whole social media stuff goes. Kate Campbell at the last Olympics, I've coached that kid since 2001. When you actually get home back to Australia, that's when you get out of your bubble, it becomes harder. And that's when you're really tested on all those things you've been saying for years, like if you're nothing without a gold medal, you're nothing with it. Your worth as a human has got nothing to do with your worth as an athlete. And if you've been preaching that line, you've got to start walking the line and try not to make too big a deal of it because everyone else has. Yeah, so look, I think at that stage I was trying to nurture the human much more than the athlete. I don't have too many talents in life, but one of them's probably being able to hide my emotion for the most part of it. And I just tried to stay as level as I could for the rest of the team and get through it. And look, you've got to show empathy for the athlete at the time and acknowledge their disappointment.
The best way to react is in a father figure way. And they've done a fantastic job to get there. But, I've learnt in the past, after a bad result, I have to be up. My energy has to be high, and I have to be, create a good atmosphere straight away. When you win, that's when you can be harder. You've got to be opposite to what the result. Coaching's tough. You've really got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy just helping the players, helping the athletes and helping develop them and helping them have a great journey in life. There's nothing prouder for a coach than to see one of his team winning a gold medal at the Olympics or me seeing one of our players playing in the English Premier League. So it's about helping them on their journey.
You don't want to take yourself too seriously. Or else there's the old saying that you're in the penthouse one day and the other house the next day. I try and stay somewhere in the middle of the building, and because you can be forgotten pretty quickly. But I think you just got to have the best interests of your athletes at heart, and it is an immense responsibility. But I think if you've done your best, you've done enough.